Paris, 2019. Back to the roots. Damn it. I flicked my lighter, again trying to light a cigarette. The smoke of my last one was still lingering in the car, but my nerves were on edge and I needed to calm down. Finally, taking a drag, I leaned back in my seat. It's just an interview. I've lost count of how many I've over the years. Yet the thought of this impending meeting made my stomach turn. It was not an ordinary interview, as the subject was special. A man who turned down all journalists, all except me. I wonder why he agreed. For the 1,000th time, I repeated to myself what little information was known about him. The name is Monsieur Lange. No one knows whether that's pseudonym or not. No one has ever seen him. A philanthropist. He is known for sponsoring artists, mainly musicians, composers. Yeah, it's not much. Lawrence, without a proof, he'd probably say that if I didn't find enough information, it only means I didn't search hard enough. The memory of Lawrence made me laugh. I looked at my watch. 3 minutes left. Stubbing out my cigarette, I looked out the window. It's pouring down, but the house is only a few feet away. Take an umbrella. I reached into the back seat and grabbed my black umbrella. It's better than showing up for the interview soaked to the bone. After opening the door and getting out of the car, I walked to the address that was on the letter I received. Rang the doorbell. There was no answer, so I decided to knock. Hello, I'm Audrey Fleming. I heard a muffled "come in" from behind the door. It looks like no one will be meeting me. Straightening my shoulder and taking a deep breath as if I was about to take an exam, I pushed on the door handle and entered the small hallway. The house was dimly lit. It smelled like bergamot. The familiar scent embraced me, making me feel as peace and comfortable. These feelings, however, were short-lived. Shaking my head, I forced myself to get back to reality. In my reality, the scent of bergamot was no longer, or at least it was no longer supposed to be anything more than just a scent, one of many. Welcome, Madam Fleming. Soft, velvety voice came from the depth of the house. My heart started pounding faster. Honestly, it's like I'm 18, not 130-year-old. I need to get myself together. I am a professional after all. Where's all this anxiety coming from anyway? I hope it didn't get wet. Paris is clearly out of sort today. No, I didn't. I follow an old friend's advice and always keep an umbrella in my car just in case. I carefully folded my umbrella and left it in the umbrella stand. I'm glad to hear it. Your Monsieur Lance arranged you. Yes. Please forgive my rudeness. I can't show myself as I prefer to remain anonymous. I hope he's not a lunatic. I understand. Please come into the drawing room, Madame Fleming. I entered the spacious room. There was a comfortable looking armchair in the center of it, next to a small table. Wood crackled gently inside the fireplace. As soon as I crossed the threshold, I felt a slight tingling in my fingertips. It was hot, but not because of the fireplace. It feels like my body knows some things that I don't. I need to pull myself together. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Although I'm probably an exception considering my longevity. I hope you'll be comfortable. Have a seat. His voice came from a pitch black corner of the room. The darkness made it impossible to see what my interlocutor looks like. I wanted to walk up to him, grab his hand, drag him into the light, look him in the eyes, and dispel his aura of dramatic mystery. Holding myself back, I sank into the soft armchair and crossed my leg. Do you mind if I record our conversation? No, you can start. Start the recording on my phone and put it on the table. I wonder why he agreed to meet me. Should I even ask? I looked into the dark corner, trying to make out at least the outline of the person I was talking to. What will be my question? Why did you agree to this interview? Is Monsieur Lunch his real name? Why did the man chuckled? To be honest, I didn't think you would ask me this question. Why is that? I thought that as professional journalists, you'd have done at least some research before this interview and figured out that I prefer not to discuss the topic of my identity. But you also prefer not to give interviews. And yet I'm here to say. I could hear a smile in his voice. I just didn't expect that to be your first question. I understand what he was hinting at, and I looked straight into his dark corner. Well, in that case, I'm really curious to know why you agreed to talk to me. Let's start with the fact that most people are more interested in the air of mystery surrounding me rather than in what I actually do. But I take my work very seriously, and I believe that much more important than who I am or where I came from. Received numerous letters to my public address lately, not much from people who needs my help, but rather from journalists, but none of them sounded sincere to me, nor driven by good intention, if you will. Everyone needs a scoop, Madam Fleming. What makes you think I don't need a scoop? You can call it a gut feeling. I smiled, looking at the firelight dancing on my hand. You may know a lot about art, but you don't seem to know much about journalism. That's where you're wrong. I read a lot. I am familiar with your articles, among other things. One might say I'm a fan of yours. I lifted my chin and smiled. Of course, I have accumulated a good deal of experience over so many years. To be honest, your style reminds me a little of another prominent journalist. She wrote about the First World War. What was her name? There was a lump in my throat. My attempt at swallowing it were unsuccessful. Oh, I remember. THEODORA Avery. A truly talented woman and a fearless one to go to war as a correspondent. And at a time when there was no respect for women in journalism. Yes, I read about her. To be honest, I was her. In my memories, 1914 appeared like a haze, a distant, faded air full of despair, fear, and ethereal hopes. The year when I became immortal. USA 1914. And be sure to remember your mother-in-law is the woman who gave your husband the world. Try not to argue with her and listen to her advice. This way, we are confident that you will be able to get in her good grace. Article by THEODORA Avery. What a load of crap. I rubbed my temple, putting aside the freshly printed issue of Housewife's Secret, the magazine I worked for. I should have used a pseudonym. I'm never going to leave this town. Looking round, assured no one was watching me. Sheila was planning articles for the next issue. Gloria was hesitantly finishing the review of a new cooking pot, and Norman, swinging lazily on a chair with a pencil in his mouth, was looking through Reader's Letter. I carefully took out the morning edition of the California Times. My back. Read. Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand assassinated in Sarajevo. Is war in Europe imminent? I looked from the newspaper to the cover of Housewife's Secret and let out a sigh. Why do some people get to write about the assassination of political figures and others only about how to tell a raped tomato from an unripped one? What are you up to, Miss Avery? I jumped in surprise when I heard my editor-in-chief low baritone behind my back. There was no point in hiding the newspaper any longer. He had already noticed it. I am reading the California Times. Have you heard the Austrian Arctic was assassinated. There's going to be a war in Europe. Yes, so I've heard. Don't remember adding reading newspaper in the workplace to the list of your tasks. His words should have sounded like a scolding, but the warm, almost fatherly smile that sprayed across his face made it clear that the editor wasn't actually annoyed. I've already finished the article for the next issue, but the one about let out the sign and rolled my eyes. The one about what fruits you should eat during pregnancy in order to have a boy. Great. I'm sure it's as good as the last one. Come on, stop signing so dramatically. You're doing so well. Shrugging my shoulder, I looked up at my boss. I'm tired of writing about housekeeping, Mr. Cross. I want more. I've already discussed this 1,000 times. Please, at least let me try. Try what? We're not the Times. We don't write about upspring, revelation, and politics. Uprising, revelation, and politics. Our readers just want to know how to charm their beloved or what to cook for Thanksgiving. But you can't know for sure. Women are not only wives, mothers, and daughter-in-law. We also have hobbies, interests beside cooking, cleaning, and gardening. Mr. Krause punched the bridge of his nose. Theodora, listen. I do understand that Housewife's Secret is not exactly the kind of magazine that would suit you as a journalist. I heard it because I saw a spark in you, the enthusiasm of a real journalist. I thought that your talent should not go to waste. If I remember correctly, newspaper like the Times did not hire you due to the lack of diploma and the fact that you're a woman. Exactly. And no one cares how many open lectures I have attended or how many textbooks I have read. I'm sorry that our magazine can't give you the opportunity to fulfill your potential, at least for now. Think about launching a political column. Of course, I can't promise anything, but the editor-in-chief winked. Who knows, maybe something will come out of it. Thank you, Mr. Cross. It means a lot to me. Now, get back to York. Yes, sir. The man nodded and went back to his office. He looked at the California Times headline again. The war is almost certainly inevitable. I wish I could live in Europe and write article about location. Because on location, I believe it's possible. After all, I am a journalist. Although no one believed in me, they kept saying that I had to give up my foolish dream and try to marry well. But I got what I wanted, right? Smile at the thought. I need to get back to work. Blowing a stray lock of hair away from my forehead, I started to write my next article. Time passed slowly. Finally, the workday came to an end. Almost all the staff had already gone home. It's time to pack up. But first, I should get my draft to Mr. Cross. I went up to the editor-in-chief's office door and raised my hand to knock. Hearing my boss's voice stopped me in my track. He seemed to be on phone with someone. Yes, I understand. God knows what's going on in Europe right now. But are you serious?